Is animal behavior instinctual or learned? We've all heard it before, nature versus nurture, as an explanation for why we do the things we do. If you're an introvert or you're an extrovert, if you're good at math, if you have high anxiety, if you prefer Bigfoot or Mothman, don't squash the squatch. And the same questions remain for our animal friends, as if animals come with only two modes, factory settings or YouTube tutorials. But biology hates simple either-or answers, and animal behavior is one of the messiest examples of them all. Clean up on aisle 5, we've got ourselves a real jumbled kerfuffle over here. Instincts are behaviors that develop without practice or instruction. No training montage, no role models, just doing the thing. That's instinct. Baby sea turtles crawl toward the ocean, and spiders spin webs they've never seen before. That part is real, and it can be pretty darn amazing. But there's some very important clarification here. Instinct doesn't mean perfect. Many instinctive behaviors start out pretty rough and then get refined by experience. Like a fine wine, the older a Yeti gets, the more abominable that. In scientific terms, instinct means genetically influenced, not robotic or unchangeable. Let's think about learning real quick. Learning shows up in places we used to swear were instinct only. For example, bird songs are an example of learning. Many birds have an innate template for their song, but they still have to hear adults sing to get it just right. If they don't have a tutor, well, they might eventually develop a weird accent, like we would if we were learning a new language without a proper teacher. It's the same thing with predators that improve hunting success with practice.
We talking about practice.
Turns out nature runs on a starter pack plus updates model. Young wolves are bad hunters. They miss on timing, rush early, or target wrong individuals altogether. They sure are cute though. Anyway, the success rates for wolves increase with age and experience. We also see the same thing with lions and cheetahs. Instinct sets the goal. Learning, however, well, that optimizes the strategy. One of the biggest myths is that instinctive behavior is rigid. In reality, many instinctive behaviors are plastic, which means they change developing on environments, stress, and experience. A great example is when animals adjust their fear responses through habituation. And when I say habituation, I mean a decrease in response to a repeated, harmless stimulus. So, not trust, not intelligence, my friends, just learning what can be ignored. For example, we've all seen pigeons, sparrows, or seagulls take flight from humans at first sight most of the time. But in cities or packed beaches, repeated, non-threatening exposure to humans will cause shorter flight distance, less alarm calling, and more tolerance of close approach. It's the same species and the same instincts, but a different experience and environment, and therefore a completely different fear response. Cool! Urban birds aren't necessarily braver, they've just learned humans don't usually do anything to them if and when they get close. We also see similar responses from deer that initially avoid roads and prairie dogs that eventually stop sounding the alarm for animals that repeatedly don't bother them. So it's more like nature through nurture, not nature versus nurture, or Godzilla versus Mothra. Those two would totally just get along. Genes also don't write the behavior. Instead, they write the rules the behavior has to follow. Okay, so if genes build nervous systems, how do environments shape how those systems get used? This example here blows my ever-loving mind. So strap in, grab a pacifier, and say goodbye to your favorite stuffed animal. It's fact time. Let's talk bees. All of the honeybees in a hive have the same genome, so we don't have to worry about different genes here, okay? But as you may know, honeybees have different roles. The worker bees, which are all female by the way, can be nursers, cleaners, builders, guarders, and foragers. And guess what? Every one of them does all of those roles, but at different times in their lives. That's right, it's called age polythism. On day 1 through 3, as an adult, they clean cells. Day 4 through 10, they nurse larvae. Days 11 through 20 is for wax building, food processing, and guarding. And after day 21, well, they just leave the nest and are foragers. But get this, if the colony is short on one of the roles, such as nursers, then the older forager bees will revert back to being nursers via changes in hormone levels, changes in gene expression, and physical changes in the brain, especially the learning centers. This is crazy, man. Anyway, the whole instinct versus learning debate sticks around because different animals learn differently. Some behaviors are tightly constrained, others are wildly flexible, and humans are apparently very bad at noticing learning, unless it looks a lot like ours. Whole bunch of narcissists, am I right? It reminds me of the Franz de Waal book, Are We Smart Enough to Know How Smart Animals Are? It's a fantastic book, by the way. My dad gave me a copy as a present when I was back in my 20s, but here's the key takeaway here. Animal behavior isn't instinct or learning. It's instinct shaped by learning, operating inside biological limits, responding to real environments. That's why it's so effective, and also why it's so hard to reduce to slogans. I hope you enjoyed this video about animal instincts and learning.